2 weeks down, 2 weeks to go. What do you like? What do you need to improve on?
Um, we just got to clean up what we got in. You know, we got a base defense in. Uh, we working on a blitz package. We got a goal line defense in. We got all our situational defense in. So I think right now we just got to clean up what we got and get our new pieces clean. You know, we got 7 new junior college players. We got uh, a freshman corner. We got a freshman defensive lineman. We got a freshman linebacker. So we just got to get our older players doing what they do consistently and our younger players just clean.
How's Javante Booker looking?
He's going to be a really good player at some point in time. He's still young and he looks good. He looks good because he's a freshman. And I love having a freshman his size.
Is he in the mix to play this year?
Uh, you know, he's got a chance. Everybody has a chance to play. We haven't redshirted anyone. We haven't sent anybody to scout team. He's caught my eye several times. Like I said, he's a big athlete that can move around. He reminds me of some people I've seen in my past.
Any other young guys besides Booker have stood out to you more often than not?
Well, you're talking, you know, obviously the junior college guys, Denarius Howard, Artez Williams, Varnado, Trev Miller, Kevon Perry, David Lamoto. You know, we hadn't seen much of some of them. Jarvis Jeffries shows flash. So, you know, a lot of the kids have really made an impression on me. Boudreaux, Demarion Mitchell, they've all had flashes.
Talk about last year, having to deal with what Simeon Thomas was going through and how you helped him through that, having to deal with a season-long suspension.
Well, I just try and keep him encouraged. You know, the first thing with me is I feel a responsibility to set a good example for my players. You know, so many kids don't have that nurturing. As a coach, my coaches were father figures to me. And that's kind of what I try and be to my players. You know, I try and let them know how much I care. Because they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So what I try and do is just care. I try to keep him encouraged, keep him motivated, tell him to walk with his head up, not down. And just kind of tried to mentor him and encourage him daily when I could. You know, him not playing, you got to get the guys that – I had to coach Savion because Savion had just gotten off the bus. And he had to replace Simeon without spring practice, and you know, so I had to devote time to him. But yet and still, I had to be aware that Simeon was there, that needed encouragement and kind word from time to time.
It's been 2+ years since he's played an actual game. How long do you think it'll take him to get adjusted back into game speed when he gets back on the field?
That's a hard question to answer. You know, you're talking about the hardest position to play in sports, and you're talking about the hardest sport to play, and you're talking about getting adjusted. So I can't answer that question, and I major in coaching corners. So it's just going to take time. We'll see.
What is his potential? Obviously he's got that frame to play that position very well. What do you think his ceiling is and how talented he can be this year?
I don't see a ceiling for a 6'3" corner. You know, I look at Richard Sherman, and I look at Jonathan Banks. I look at some of the guys that have the skill set that he's got. They're pretty good. So I think the ceiling he sets, it's about focus and hard work and how committed you are to excellence. So I don't think there is a ceiling.
What was your reaction to the cleanup the other day? What was your reaction to the cleanup?
Oh, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. Savion, for example, we had our meeting. We were tired. And first they went to help me because, I had a problem. And then we worked the neighborhood that was closest to ours. And when the people saw us, they didn't really know what to expect. But I watched Simeon and Savion. They were in my group, and Goodland and some more of them. But they just got a freshness about them. And they had what I call a humble sweat. They went to work in that house, and those people were at wit's end. The owner was not able to do much. But the guys, I've never been proud of a group. And the people in my neighborhood, you have a lot of older retired folk that they had done their cleanup, but just to see the guys over there, they came and took pictures, and it was really touching to me. To see our kids in that light, and for people to see our kids trying to help, trying to give back, trying to do something. So it's one of the highlights of my life, and I've been around a little while. It was a highlight for me, and it was great to be able to help.
Getting closer to that first game, how important is it for you to establish starters in that secondary?
My whole deal is getting too deep at every position, because the game is such now. If you think you're going to play with 11 guys, you're really out of your mind, because my whole deal is to try and have 22 guys and to try and figure substitution out and how to get our guys to celebrate on the sideline, because you got to go play the next play. Everything is tempo. It's so fast. So I don't think in terms of 11. I think in terms of 22. So what I'm trying to do is get 22 guys that I can depend on, too deep at every position. And I call them 1A and 1B. And I think that's the way you got to do it this day and time.
Feel like you have a good grasp on that?
Oh, yeah. I'm about like anybody. I ain't as good as the two that played for the national championship, and they struggle with it sometimes, and they're some of the best. So like I said, I study it. I study substitution. My teacher is a smart teacher, and he told me his substitution is huge, and we can sub when they sub, and you got to figure out the 3 seconds and how long you got to finish up, and it's a lot to it. And when the bullets are flying, but I got some good coaches working with me, Coach Cheese and Coach Chop and Coach Lucas, and we're working at it all the time, trying to come up with the best way.
What kind of confidence does it give you having Savion and Simeon out corner position to run your defense?
Well, it gives me confidence when I got good safeties, good nickels, good linebackers, good D-line. I love having the corners, but I think in terms of 22, because it's a team game, but I love having them now. You got Savion, who's got experience. You got Troy, who's got experience. You got Simeon, who's got a lot of potential, who hadn't played that much. But the two guys that have played the most ball is Troy and Savion. So we got some other young kids. Lorenzo is going to be a really good player at some point in time, but he's learning a position. Kamar Greenhouse going to be a really good player, but they learning the position, hard position to play. So it makes me feel good that we have depth.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.